I just recently finished 30 days of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and here are my results. Hi everyone, my name is Raina. I'm a registered nurse and stay-at-home mom of two. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-month-old who I am breastfeeding. Before I get into the results though, first I want to talk about what is beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Someone who is not in the keto carnivore space may not know what it is. So Dr. Ken Berry, you will find him here on YouTube. He actually invented this elimination diet. It's meant to be very restrictive, and he explains it first as the ultimate weight loss hack. But as people have done this challenge of eating only beef, butter, bacon, and eggs for 30, 60, or 90 days, they've realized that it's good for a lot of other things. So not only weight loss, but it also helps with to normalize and regulate hormone levels, including leptin, including insulin, and others. It's also really great to cut carb and sugar cravings, which is the main reason that I did this challenge, because I was having really strong sweets cravings at night. I was doing a lot of snacking, and at night, even after a really big meal, I just found myself craving something sweet. And so I decided to do this challenge, just be very restrictive. And it's meant to be that way so that when you do decide to bring foods back in after 30, 60, or 90 days, you can tell exactly what the problem foods are for you, because everyone is different. And the way that I like to think about it is when you do something so restrictive like this to your diet, you're cutting out all of the noise in your body, and it cuts down inflammation, it cuts down noise, so that when you do finally bring something back in, you will know immediately. I mean, your body will give you feedback and let you know, hey, this is not a food that agrees with you. This is not something you should be eating. And so it allows you to bring foods in that agree with you and that help you feel your best. Okay, now into the results. It's going to be broken up into 3 parts. The first part is going to be changes I noticed in my body. The next is changes to my lab results. And the last part is going to be changes to my mind, my perspective, and kind of my takeaways from this experience. The first part is changes that I noticed to my body. So to be frank, I did not do my due diligence and measure, but what I did do was I took clips of my midsection on day 1 and day 31. So the morning right after my last day. That's where I tend to hold most of my weight, is in my midsection. That's where I hold excess fat, basically. I'm going to roll the clips of day 1 and day 30. So I hope you noticed the changes. I definitely did. I feel like it looks like I lost at least a couple of inches on my side. You can see, and it's the same exact leggings. The top is a little bit different, but one doesn't cover much more than the other. And I feel like I lost at least a couple inches on my side. You can see the little muffin top. In day 1, I also had excess skin here, at the top of my ribs. And you can see on day 30 that you can almost see my ribs. I don't know where that excess skin went. I don't know, but I'm pleasantly surprised. And I will tell you, it's a few days after I finished that challenge, it has not come back. My weight is the exact same. It varies by a few ounces, but not even by a pound. So the weight change was honestly not a lot. And I think there are several reasons for that, but first, let me tell you the specific numbers. On day 1, I started at 131.6 pounds. On day 31, the morning right after, I was 126 pounds even, which is a total weight loss of 5.6 pounds. Not a whole lot, okay? And I think there are several reasons for that. I'm not mad about it at all. And I'm glad that despite the weight loss, I did not see a dip in my breast milk supply. My priority on this challenge was to keep my breast milk supply, was to keep breastfeeding my baby. So if I saw that it was too much of a shock to my system, that it was going to affect my milk supply, then I was going to have to stop the challenge. And I was actually afraid of that a couple of times, but it didn't. It actually worked out really well, and it did not dip at all. So the reasons why I think that I did not lose too much weight is, one, I already mentioned, I'm a breastfeeding mom. That's my baby. I'm a breastfeeding mom, and so there are hormone changes that go along with that are going to affect and that are going to prevent me from losing too much weight. When you are breastfeeding, your body is in like protect mode. It's protecting everything that it can, including fat that it needs to make breast milk. So it's not going to get rid of that. Two is, I am very close to my ideal body weight. I've never been a person that has tons of weight to lose. And so even Dr. Berry has mentioned on several occasions that the closer you are to your ideal body weight, the harder it is to lose that weight, especially the last 15 to 20 pounds. And I'm at less than that. Sorry, I had to make a quick change of setting, but I left off telling you guys the reasons why I didn't think that I lost that much weight. Another one that I wanted to add was that, and I shared this on my beef, butter, bacon, and eggs playlist. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend that you do. All the videos are very short. They're anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes. So I vlog daily from day one, or from prep day, the day before, to my very last day of the challenge. And so I talked many times about how my 4.5-month-old still sleeps next to us, and so our sleep was very poor, and that can also affect weight loss. So there was just multiple factors on top of my diet that were kind of affecting my weight loss. Another body change that I noticed was my face is less chunky. I know it sounds weird, but with only 5.6 pounds lost, but yes, I feel like I lost chunkiness in my face. Around here in this area, I feel like my face was chunkier. And so, yeah, that's just something that I noticed. Hey guys, Future Reina here. As I was editing this video, I realized that I forgot to tell you about something really important as a change to my body, my bowel movements. On BBBE, they became very few and far between. Like, I often now don't remember the last time that I had a bowel movement. When, back when I was dirty keto, it was still once or twice a day. And now I'd say on average, it's about every 4 days, 3 to 4 days. And it's almost like my body's saying like, oh, fat and protein. Okay, I can do something with this. But before it was just junk, keto junk food. Not always. I tried to always be clean with it, but I wasn't having enough fat and protein to satiate me. So I was relying still on, I was relying still on keto junk food, which contains carbs and a bunch of other crap. Anyway, now on to my favorite part. All right, let's get on to the next section, which is my lab results. That's the section that I'm most excited to share with you guys because I'm honestly really proud of my numbers. So another thing that I wish I had done was gotten blood work right before BBBE, but unfortunately I didn't. The labs that I have to compare with my labs after BBBE are from like 14 or 15 months ago. They're from December 28th of 2021. So it was a little while ago, but I was already eating keto, more red meat, probably not as much red meat or as much fat as I do now, but I was definitely already on the right path and definitely eating higher fat, as you'll see. So my cholesterol in December of 2021 was 200. That was my total cholesterol, 200. My HDL was 66, and that's supposed to be over 50. My triglycerides were 39. It's really interesting. That's really good. And it's supposed to be below 150. My LDL cholesterol was 122, and that's supposed to be below 100. My hemoglobin A1C was 4.9, and that's really good. Anything below 5.7 is good. All right, and I want to share a comment that I got from the physician assistant that saw me that day for my physical exam. He said, "Hello, Raina. Your cholesterol is a little high," right? Because 200 is right at the borderline. "Cut back on fried foods, red meats, and shellfish. The remainder of your labs are within normal limits. Follow up in the office as scheduled." So I did not take that advice. I probably doubled up on my red meat and probably fried foods too, because I fry some of my food. The results from March 10th, 2023, just a few days ago, my total cholesterol was 357. From 200 14 months ago to 357. My triglycerides are 87. So they went from 39 14 months ago to 87. HDL cholesterol went from 66 14 months ago to 58. Not a huge difference there. And my LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, more than doubled. 14 months ago it was 122, and now it is at 279. I'm really proud of those numbers. I'm shocked that my total cholesterol is 357. That's crazy. I'm proud. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. Oh, I'm sorry. And my hemoglobin A1C is 5.0. So it went from 4.9 14 months ago to 5.0, which is not a big difference. And honestly, that tells me that I'm doing a good job at keeping my glucose under control and my insulin at a good level. Now for the last part, which is the changes in my perspective and the things that I learned from 30 days of BBBE. I think that this challenge really helped me to pay attention to my body, to listen to what it's telling me when I add foods in, and just to be more selective with what I put in it. If you watched some of my BBBE videos, you know that I shared some of the feedback that my body was giving me when I ate something that I was not supposed to. Nausea, vomiting, gas, diarrhea, all these things, right? And it was my body telling me that something just was not right. And so after several days of giving it the right food, then all of a sudden I have something I'm not supposed to have. It was going to push back. Also, I feel like I'm more in tune with hunger signals. I'm not eating when I'm not hungry. I also talked in my videos about how I wasn't purposely fasting. I would just go as long as I could without eating, and it ended up being like 10 or 11 o'clock before I was having my first meal a lot of the times, and I wasn't purposely fasting at all. But yeah, it just taught me, like, maybe when you eat, you're not really hungry. I mentioned that the main reason why I did this challenge was to get rid of sweets cravings and to stop the constant snacking after I was already full. And it taught me how to do that, because since then, it's only been a few days, but since then, I haven't had random snacking. I haven't had sweets. In fact, something I wanted to share about that is, prior to BBBE, I had 2 cups of coffee a day, every day. and I would add a tablespoon. I wish I had brought it as a prop, but I had an entire tablespoon of sugar-free sweetener in my coffee every cup, and I just thought, well, that's not that much, it's fine. And I had two, and then sometimes throughout the day I would crave a third cup, and I'm like, I really don't think that sometimes I would stop myself, and sometimes I would have that third cup. But after triple B and E, I realized maybe it wasn't the coffee that I was craving, it was the sweetener. It was the sweetness of the coffee that I needed, that my body was craving because I was addicted. I know that because since then I've had one cup, and sometimes I have to talk myself into having another cup. And the times that I have had a second cup, I'll either not finish it and I'll just throw it away, or I save it. There's enough in there that I'm like, I don't want to throw it away, so I save it in my fridge for the next day. So that's taught me that because the sweetener that I used to add a tablespoon of, now I only add half a teaspoon of. And that's a huge difference. And so although I do taste the sweetness still with half a teaspoon, it's not at all, it's not even like a third as much as I used to have. And so I realized that I wasn't addicted to my coffee. It wasn't just that I needed the energy and I needed the caffeine. I just was addicted to the sweetness of my coffee. Okay, a couple of really cool takeaways that I got from this is carnivore is so easy. Like, I am a mom of two, I'm a wife, I cook for my family most days, we don't eat out a whole lot. And I think if you're a mom and you're watching, you know the headache that it is to have to think of dinner every single day. Like, I don't know what to cook for my family. I don't know what to make anymore. I'm running out of options. It's hard to get on a meal plan, really. It just takes up this whole like space in your mind. And this challenge just took away all of that, because I found myself, at first I did cook different things for them, keto foods, keto recipes, and some things that were not keto because my husband is not keto. But a lot of the times I would just make beef burgers, beef patties, beef cookies, whatever you want to call them. And we would all eat that. They would add ketchup, like sugar-free ketchup and mayo. And it just was so easy. And my husband loves them so much that he was good with having them several days a week. And I was too. And so was my toddler. So everything became so easy when I didn't have to think about it so much. I didn't have to go look for a recipe and start hunting down a bunch of ingredients. I just knew what we were having, not only because it was easy and it's because it's what we had, but also because it's the most nutrient dense thing. So I was happy to be eating beef or steak or bacon or whatever every single day. Another thing that you might relate to if you're a mom is the dishes were like half as much as before. There just was not that many dishes because what I cooked was prepped on this one skillet, on this one thing. I didn't have to like boil pasta, boil this, boil that, cook this, like several different things with the veggies and all this stuff. It was just a one skillet meal, a one pan, one whatever meal, usually for my family and for myself. And so it cut down on dishes and it cut down on the mental load of coming up with something for dinner. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I do upload what I eat in a day vlogs. You get to see what I eat and what my toddler eats, what my entire family eats. So if any of that sounds good to you, I hope you subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Say what you wanna say.